After 2 weeks of deadlock, hopes for a positive outcome in Baku are fading. Some of the blame is directed at the organisers, Azerbaijan. The talks, after all, getting off to a less than auspicious start with its president praising his country's fossil fuel wealth.
It's a gift of the God. Every natural resource, whether it's oil, gas, wind, sun, gold, silver, copper, all that are natural resources.
But much of the blame lies with the rich world because these talks are about money, those most responsible for climate change helping pay others to fix it. Look at historical carbon emissions, and the US and the EU have burned the most and grown the richest from doing so. China and India are gaining fast but want help not to repeat our industrial history. But it's poor countries most vulnerable to climate change that have the least responsibility for causing it. Chad's historical emissions 9,000 times less, for example, than the United States. Money should help people in the southern hemisphere exposed to severe heat, droughts and floods with the least money to adapt. Rich countries should, for example, pay for a solar farm in Haiti instead of a coal-fired power plant, or plant trees in Kenya to absorb carbon and combat extreme heat. But the estimated bill for all of this is eye-watering. The talks in Baku have agreed that at least $1.3 trillion in climate finance is needed each year by 2035. The row, of course, is where that money is going to come from. It took rich countries 12 years to honour a previous commitment to come up with $100 billion a year in climate finance, and that was cobbled together from various sources. But the money that's being put on the table at the very end of these talks in Baku is way too little, according to the countries that were promised it.
It's the most disappointing outcome we've ever had. This is a slap in the face for developing countries. It can't be accepted. Just because developed countries put it on the table is not good enough a reason for developing countries to fall for it. And I don't expect any developing countries to fall for such low ambition.
These talks always end in carefully worded compromise, but it's hard to fudge a number. Whatever the outcome in Baku, it will reflect how seriously the world really takes the dangers of climate change.